Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Dialogue Dome podcast. My name is Brendan. This is Max, and today
Hello.
we're going to be talking about something everyone uses: emojis.
Yes. Like,
Oh man.
fucking, why not? We had the Apple and Android thing. Why don't we talk about the stuff that people use in order to
Yep.
communicate on those devices that you have
Yep.
or not have or whatever?
Yep.
I don't know, your
I
life.
I wore the most yellow shirt I could find in my closet specifically
Mhm.
for this episode, just
Yeah.
because it's. I mean, come on, emojis. I
Oh,
wanted to
yeah,
look like a
yeah,
Simpson. Come on.
yeah.
All right, so
Nice.
Max is the one that originally prompted us to talk
I
about
did.
this episode, and I think it's
Yeah.
actually a really cool idea because emojis they've become like a cultural phenomenon now. I
Mhm.
mean, it's
A staple in like, I don't know, everything.
history,
Yeah,
human history.
everybody fucking uses emojis. Everybody, like, at one point in your life, you've used an emoji. If you're of a certain age, obviously someone who grew up in the 90s, but even like the older generations are starting to understand it. They're starting to understand the innuendos.
My
They're getting smarter.
my grandmother is probably the biggest emoji user I've ever seen. I mean, I'm
Really.
not kidding you. She's 94. We'll start there. She didn't have
Okay.
technology her whole life, but she's come
Yeah.
accustomed to using an iPhone, an iPad. She has an Apple Watch. She's very tech savvy for her age.
Really.
That at least she's very tech savvy compared to the people that I usually meet of her age. Let's put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
And what's awesome about it is that she will literally text you like 5 different emojis that all relate to each other. She's figured out the system so well. I mean, it's just
Wow.
great. It's great. It really is.
Nice. Nice.
Um, but I mean, let's talk about the history. Where did this all come from? I mean,
Yeah.
the culture is one thing, but the history
Right.
is another thing. So I actually have a timeline here. I mean,
Yeah.
technically speaking,
Mm-hmm.
emojis, the first idea or concept of one came up in 1962 in
Really.
Russia. Funny enough, it was a Russian scientist who believed that emotions could eventually one day replace texted language,
Yeah.
and that it never came to fruition. It just never
Mm.
happened because it was just too ahead of its time, I think.
Yeah.
But then
I could see that.
yeah, Scott Fellman, who is another scientist in 1982, he's a computer scientist,
Yeah.
suggested that the first emoticons based on keyboard strokes should be a thing. So
Mm.
he's the one that came up with the idea that like, oh, we have a bunch of buttons on a keyboard right now
Yeah,
with like,
yeah.
letters and numbers. Why couldn't we have a keyboard of emotions?
Mm.
He's the one that came up with the idea of that. And they were very, very basic because it was text, you know what I mean? So he
Sure,
was like,
right.
he actually looked at the keyboard, and this is so genius to me. He looked at the keyboard, he looked at the symbols of the English language of grammar, and said, how can
Mhm.
I make faces out of these symbols? And the first one he did was a semicolon, a dash, and a parentheses facing this way. And that was the first smile emoticon ever.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy when you think about it. It's so ingenious yet so simple. I
Right.
mean, it's great that you could like you take a semicolon, a dash, and a parentheses symbol, and that makes a face. I mean, that's just ingenious. Like
Mhm.
nobody at that time would have ever thought of that. I mean, come on,
Right.
you know?
No, of course not. Because I mean, like, even at that time, computers were still, like, super new or huge that lived in big businesses, basements and all of that, and, like, people didn't really have personal home computers at the time,
Mm,
so you didn't need emojis. There wasn't a need for it,
right.
but that's actually so fascinating that the idea, the concept of emojis happened even like way before we even really needed them.
Yeah, I know it's great. I mean, it's funny to me because like when you think about the time period of 1982, um,
Mhm.
a lot of computers during those times were still taking up like entire rooms at companies. I mean, like it's amazing how compact we've put technology. I mean, now, I mean, just talking even about, you know, the latest iPad that just came out is the thinnest iPad that is ever made. I mean, we're talking about like 5.1 centimeters, I think. I mean, which is
Wow.
ridiculously thin. And you put
Sure.
that next to a 1982 computer, which takes up literally an entire giant server room, and that's just
Mm-hmm.
one computer. I mean, that's just nuts to me how far we've come. So, like,
Right. Ugh.
nobody could put that kind of thing in their house. You know what I mean?
No,
It
of
just,
course not.
even if you were rich, you wouldn't have been able to put it in your house. It wouldn't fit,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
No, but that's insane that that like the concept of it was even just thought of before we
It
even
was
got to those
accessible.
chat rooms and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, because I know I think of all that like those old AOL chat rooms and everything, and or even
You've
like
got
very
mail.
right. Or even like those basic old school uh telephones that like charged you for every word and every letter. Like it made sense that those were the starting point of emojis for at least me and many other people,
Hmm.
because there was almost a necessity to very quickly show an idea without using so many words or characters on the keyboard, because it took forever to even punch them in the first place, or it cost money to explain yourself. Like it's
Hmm.
it's so interesting that that's when it started, and then here we are to fucking today, where we have professional artists
I
making
know.
like thousands of emojis at any given time. Whole companies are like paying people to design new emojis and updates and all of this. It's
I know.
crazy.
Yeah, I mean, 1982 was very, very simplistic emojis, and then it says in
Sure.
the 1990s, that's when emoticons became widely used across the internet for simple, quick messages. Because
Right.
think about it, back in the day, it was dial-up, so it used to take forever just to
Hmm.
send something, right?
Right.
Um, in
Uh,
1999, that is when Japanese artist, I'm gonna apologize right now for
yeah.
anyone who's Japanese. I'm so sorry. I think it's Shigata Kurita. I think that's how you pronounce it. Shigata Kurita
Okay.
designs one of the first sets of emojis, and it's 176 symbols. And
Hmm.
he or she was the first one to create image-based text,
Yeah.
essentially. And
Hmm.
then in mid 2000s, it says here other countries gain access to this emoji set through copy and paste app functions.
Hmm.
So, which is kind of interesting.
That is interesting.
And then I think, I mean, yes, they're widely used across the internet, but again, you're gonna hate me, Max. I'm so sorry,
Yeah.
but this is Apple again. It's just Apple. They don't take
We
they
just need
Apple.
to rebrand, I guess. We're just
Yeah,
Apple fucking sponsor us, I guess,
yeah.
and
I don't.
Samsung go fuck yourself.
No.
I don't fucking know.
Well, look. So here's the thing. So I mean, I hate to be like this, but I'm a person who believes that Apple doesn't really do anything original. They just take something that already exists and makes it the
Sure.
best version of it. But anyway,
Sure, sure, sure,
um,
sure.
in 2011, Apple
Mhm.
launched their first emoji keyboard for iOS. So it was the first
Mm.
time an emoji keyboard had ever been built into an operating system ever.
Interesting.
And so like even like Windows 95, Windows XP didn't have an emoji keyboard built in. It
Right.
was it was 2011 Apple released the first ever integrated emoji keyboard with, of
That
course, their own redesigned emojis, right?
well, of course, of
Yeah.
course. That feels so late.
Yeah, it's 2011. 2013 is when Android first put an emoji keyboard into their operating system
Really?
with their own emojis.
That feels so late.
I know, right? That's literally like not even kidding you for Android. That's 11 years ago. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
That's insane.
It's
I
crazy.
I could have totally believed, like, if you told me, "Oh, it happened in 2005," it's like, I could have totally believed that. It was just enough after the early 90s, but still into that whole technology age where, like, smartphones were becoming, personal computers and all of that, that I could have totally believed that that's when the first emoji keyboard came out, but fucking 2011?
Yeah,
Damn.
I'm gonna make some people laugh here. The emoji
Yeah,
keyboard was released in iOS 5.
really.
iOS 5. And then
Jeez.
Android. Hold on, I'm just looking this up here. So it
Mhm.
was um Android OS 4. So iOS 5 and Android OS 4.
Damn.
Oh man, we're really going back now. Like we're on
I
what
know.
Android OS are we on now?
Oh god, I couldn't even tell you what's the current
Yeah.
Android OS.
Yeah, we're on iOS 17 for the record for us. We're about to release
Android
18.
14.
Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah, we're about to
October
release
20
18, so
yeah, October 23 was the release of Android 14. Damn. Damn. Fucking shit, man. That's
what's
insane.
what's so weird is that makes me feel both simultaneously old and young at the same time.
Right?
I just don't I didn't expect the first integrated emoji keyboard ever to be
Mhm.
2011. That's crazy.
That
Like
is
that's
crazy.
13 years ago.
Right, because it almost feels like I've been using emojis forever, and I mean, like, I did that stupid, like, semicolon, colon, uh, parentheses to make a
Yeah.
smiley face, like, I did all of that. X, D, X3 are still some of my favorites that I just type into the keyboard when I don't want to pull up the emoji keyboard, but, like, that's wild. That's
Mhm.
wild.
Yeah, and then there's only two other things on this timeline that I think I find fascinating.
Mhm,
In 2015, Oxford Dictionary officially named the first ever emoji as their word of the year, and it's
really.
the face with the tears of joy, the laughing emoji. Yeah,
Really?
it says that was the first ever emoji to be announced the word of the year.
Crazy.
Yeah, and then in 2017, researchers started using the mosquito emoji to represent just general diseases,
Hmm,
which I find very funny because it's like, yeah, mosquitoes are the ones that transport the most diseases, but
right.
you know,
No,
and
I mean, like, it makes sense scientifically, but that's also interesting that that's yeah, no, that makes
yeah,
sense.
and they used it in 2017 to help communicate to other countries that
Yeah.
have language barriers that there are diseases in this area or that there are diseases
Ah,
in this part of the whole like hospital or something like that.
yeah.
They put up a sign with a mosquito emoji, which is
Interesting.
so that's so
That's so smart.
smart. I was just about to
Yeah,
say that's so smart. Oh man,
right,
emojis are so weird. It's such a weird concept to talk about.
right.
You know, I mean, it's so interesting to me that we've come to a point in our culture and society where we
Mhm.
now can universally eliminate any kind of language barrier simply by putting up a face or some kind of
Yeah, some kind
image
of
based
symbol or a
text.
hand, like, I show you a picture and you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Hmm. It's so
Insane.
cool. It's so
It's
cool.
very cool. I love studying like languages and stuff like that. Well, okay, I say study. I like looking into stuff like this because it really shows.
Max speaks 17 languages and 5
Yeah,
ancient languages.
exactly. I speak three dead languages. I speak Klingon and Vulcan. I'm proficient in. Fucking no, I'm not. Are you kidding? I barely can speak English. Let's be honest.
Yeah, same. I can't.
Um.
I feel bad for anyone trying to learn English. By the way, as a side
Right.
note, because there's
Oh.
so many exceptions and irregularities that
Mhm.
I feel so bad for you. I'm so
Oh, I
sorry. Our
know.
language is so complicated. It doesn't need to be this complicated.
It doesn't, but here
Ugh.
we are. Cause fucking I don't know. I don't know who invented English, but man, fuck them. 'Em. I'm happy that I've learned it first because if I had to learn English to satiate the Americans,
Yeah. No.
man, would that suck.
Yeah, we would be. Yeah, there's a reason why when a lot of people use it as a second language, it's very difficult for them to speak because it's like
Hmm.
we have English. We have like 6 different words that can be literally translated into one word in some other languages, and
Hmm.
it's like why do you have 6 words for this one word that we have in like Spanish or
Right.
Japanese or French or something like that?
Hmm.
It's crazy. Anyway, that's
Anyway. But that's
we
just
we
language. But it's so
digress.
interesting. It's so interesting studying language and how things progress over time and how technology has influenced language over the course of like apparently just a few years. Um it's awesome to think about, and I strongly recommend anyone out there to just kind of take a look. What are some of your favorite emojis?
Me
Like
personally,
what are the ones that like you use the most? I can even pull up my keyboard here and go to my like most
I
used
was gonna say we
emojis.
thankfully have a recents tab here. Hold on.
Yeah. Uh
Oh, a good thing I just checked my messages. My mom just asked me something.
oh wow.
While we're recording this. So my
Uh
most recent emoji is the one I use the most is the laughing emoji with the
yeah.
tears of joy, but the face is turned sideways slightly.
Yeah.
Yep.
I
Um,
gotcha.
I also love I love the heart eyes one personally.
Hard eyes are pretty good.
Yeah.
I like those
I
ones.
also use um I use the kissing one. I think I actually have to say I think that my favorite emoji is the melting face.
Yeah.
I can relate to that almost every day of my life, the melting face.
Mhm.
Whether and that's so universal because it can be like I'm melting because like something really good is happening, or like
Right?
I'm melting
Or
because
something so
fuck thy life. You
embarrassing
know what I
has
mean?
happened. Yeah.
But I'm also a pretty big fan of the wine glass. I'm not gonna lie, that's a good one
Yeah.
too.
Those ones are pretty good.
That's my inner wine connoisseur coming out right there. Is the wine glass.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. What about you?
Um mine is an interesting list. So, the one that I seem to be using the most is like there's the happy face but with the sweat drop on it.
Oh yeah, that's a good one
Like
too.
oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. I
Yeah.
I like using that one a lot. I also use the laughing crying emoji where he's rolling around. That one's
Yeah.
also really good. Or even my favorite is when I can combine emojis. I really like just using the big teeth smile emoji with the victory
Oh
sign,
yeah,
the
that's a
peace
good
sign.
one.
I put those two
Mhm.
together and it looks really good together. Or even that same smiley one with the thumbs up,
Mhm.
also fantastic.
Mhm.
But what's more surprising to me is my most used emoji, or at least my current emoji that I'm using, is the one that I hate the most.
Really, which one is it?
Right? It's the okay sign. This
Oh.
one.
Yeah, you were talking about this and how you don't like its
Yeah.
design, yeah.
Yeah. So,
Do you want to
like
dive into
from a
that? Yeah, let's do
I mean,
that.
okay, let's get into it, I guess. So, the art for the okay sign is good. Somebody designed it and it looks like a hand giving the okay symbol. But I want to ask you right now, what does an okay sign look like to you? Like, what is it supposed to look like to you?
Like
Yeah?
that.
But is that
That's
from your perspective or my perspective? Like, how should the okay sign look? To me, when I give the okay sign in the emoji app, I'm giving the okay symbol to somebody. So it
so
should
it's
look
yeah.
like this, palm out. But it doesn't. It looks like it's from your perspective. So it's the back of the hand out. And it's so fucking infuriating because when I send it, I see the palm or the backhand out. I see that
I'm down
it's
here now.
it's so infuriating.
Everyone duck under their fucking desk. Jesus Christ.
It's just like it doesn't make sense to me because like when I send that text to you, does it flip around and
No.
turn to palm out? No, it's still backhand out after I've sent it to you. It would make sense, I guess, if on my phone it was backhand out and then on your phone it was palm out. That would make sense in a really cool kind of interesting way, but it doesn't do that. It's just backhand out, and I hate that. I hate it so much because that's not what we see when we give the okay sign to anybody. So why is that?
Oh.
Why is that the thing? I don't know. I've rambled. I've said my piece, but it bothers me. It bothers me a lot, and I'm going to open letter. Here's the open letter segment again to Apple, Android, anybody who has an emoji keyboard. Fucking flip the hand. Flip
Just
it.
flip it. Yeah.
Just flip the fucking hand. You do it with the thumbs up sign. You have palm out and all of that. Just do the same thing. God.
Well, you know what's funny is that's wrong too from your perspective
Is
because
it?
it's palm out.
Oh, you're right. It is backhand out. Like if I'm giving you the thumbs up,
Oh no,
that's
we are
so
gonna.
God
Oh
damn it.
shit! Every hand emoji is gonna be evaluated now. Oh god.
God damn. Well, I mean like the peace sign, that one's right. Why like I'm not giving this to you. This means I'm sorry to our British audience, but that means something completely different
Mm-hmm.
to so many different cultures, and I don't understand why that's that's so crazy. I'm now looking at all of the hand emojis in my phone just to make sure that they're all right, but they aren't.
The only one that's correct from your argument, the only one that's correct is thumbs
Uh-huh.
down.
Thumbs down? Yeah.
That's the only one
Thumbs
that's
down
correct.
makes sense. So thumbs up needs to
I will also
be
tell you that the Italian one is wrong too. You're not seeing it like this. You're seeing it like this, 4 fingers out like this.
yeah,
Um,
instead of to the
Same with this
side.
one. This one's wrong too.
Is it?
This one's wrong too.
Oh, it is. Or is it wrong on your
I'm
phone?
doing
'Cause on mine, I can see fingers out. I can see palm out on mine.
mine's palm in. We're doing the pinching emoji for
Really?
those who are
Yeah,
listening.
yeah. The pinch
Um,
one.
yeah. We also, for the record, we did the Italian one. We did the thumbs down one. We did the fist pump's wrong too.
Is it fist pump is wrong?
Mm-hmm. You're supposed to be looking at it like this, or like this, but not like
Yeah, but I
this.
mean, like it's still got. Well, okay. I guess on
this looks like I was about
mine,
to punch you.
right there is the left and right, fist bumps. But the one facing forward, that one is knuckles out. At least on my phone, anyway.
Palmy is correct.
Yeah.
Writing is weird. This is too much. We shouldn't have done this.
I know, right? Sorry, I'm looking over at myself. Call me actually might not be right on mine, because mine is palm out.
That's a different one for me. There's two
Is
versions
it?
of that one for me. Anyway,
I only have the one.
anyway, so your argument just opened up an existential crisis for all emoji artists in the world right there.
Apparently.
So congratulations, you've just made the world panic.
I just want them to like it's as if they never looked at a fucking hand before. Or if they have, they've done it in like they're just using their hand as a reference, but they're only looking at the back of their fucking hand. It's like this is how you give an okay symbol, and from my perspective, it's backhand out. But that's not your perspective. You're not giving the okay symbol to you. You're giving it to somebody else. Somebody is receiving your okay.
Oh man.
Yep, This is definitely the visual episode. People need to be watching on YouTube. Sorry for our podcast listeners out there.
Yes, well, that's why I'm trying to explain what we're doing.
Right.
To the podcast listeners, which is fine. I mean, hey, if you're listening on Spotify, thank you for listening.
Hey,
please keep listening to us.
Wonderful to have you here.
Yes.
But there is a visual component to this episode. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I'll tell you which one my most hated one is, and I just
Yeah,
find
hit
it.
me.
I'm gonna text this to you because you've probably never used it. Okay.
Maybe. Probably not.
Really quickly, and I just want to make sure that you get which one I'm doing. Let me know when you get it.
Oh, I just got it.
Yeah, it's the Stonehenge face.
Yeah. One of the
Why
fucking
is
Easter Island heads.
what? First off, let me just
Yeah.
say this:
Okay.
it's ugly. It doesn't look like Stonehenge. It looks to me like some alien with
Easter
floppy
Island.
ears and yeah.
Sure.
So did I say Stonehenge? I meant Easter Island.
You
Sorry.
said Stonehenge at least twice.
Sorry. The Easter Island face is the one I'm talking about. I'm
Yeah.
so sorry, everybody.
Yeah.
They're all the same. They're giant stones that no one knows what the
I
fuck they are.
I gotcha. I get it.
Um,
Okay.
yeah. So I find it first off, it's ugly.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that the
I mean,
faces at Easter Island are ugly. They
sure.
look ancient.
Yeah.
The emoji that they decided to use, he
Uh-huh.
looks pissed. He looks like he has rabbit ears. He looks like he has a
Yeah.
ramp for a nose, and then on top
Yeah.
of that, he looks like he's doing the duck face.
Maybe on your end.
Yeah,
I
it's
might have.
just ugh.
Yeah.
It's just what's the like okay.
Yeah.
Emojis are supposed to show emotion.
Yeah.
What about Easter Island
I
faces show emotion?
I I agree. I'm not sure what Easter Island head is supposed to represent as an emotion.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is there even like a what does here? Let me what does the Easter Island emoji mean? What does that mean? What was the plan for that one?
Mm-hmm.
Strength, determination, resilience, perseverance, spirituality, or power. That's what that
I get
means.
none of that from that emoji.
Yeah, I don't think I fucking get that one either.
Yeah. That one's not really great. The other one, and I hate
Stone
to
faced, maybe. Like you're just fucking in your element. I don't know.
that
I don't.
means yeah, this means dome face. Yeah, like that's what
Mm,
yeah, the duck face.
yeah,
Um
I don't know.
the other ones that I find super strange.
Mm-hmm.
I know what they were trying to go for with these,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna text these all to you again, but
Hit me.
it's the moon and the sun with faces on them.
Hmm.
I know what they were trying to go with on this one, but there's
Right.
a full moon and a new moon, and then there's just the regular old sun. But
Right.
the sun one looks okay, but
Someone looks all
the
right.
new moon and the full moon, they just look creepy. I mean, they just look so
Yeah.
odd. Like especially the full moon one looks like
Uh-huh.
he's like watching you from a distance, like spying on you. Like what the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really fully understand that one myself.
Yeah, I don't know.
That but I mean like I guess to a certain degree I can understand why they wanted to put faces in the sun and moon anyway because I mean we've been doing that for a while.
Oh yeah,
The
kids books do it all the time.
Exactly. And like the man in the moon is obviously a reference that's been made
Very true. Yeah.
for
Hmm.
centuries. So, like obviously they'll put a face in fucking anything at this point. But I will admit that the full frontal new moon half or new moon uh full moon is not necessarily the representation that I'm most familiar with. Usually it's just the crescent moon profile. You get the moon in profile and that's
Hmm.
like that makes sense to me. And for some reason the sun is always wearing sunglasses. So that's maybe why I'm not
Yeah.
uh
Which is
loving this
so
particular
ironic.
sun. I know that's so ironic, the sun wearing sunglasses. But man, does it not feel like the most summer image you've ever seen?
Oh
Is a
yeah.
big happy face sun with huge sunglasses on?
Yeah. Which is weird because there actually is no emoji of that.
Of the sun wearing sunglasses?
There
That is
isn't.
so
Yeah,
interesting.
there isn't. There's a
Is there
picture of a
even like a
regular person wearing sunglasses. Like there's this one here that
yeah,
I'm about to send to you. It's the sunglass
right.
emoji guy, but there's no sun with the
No sun
sunglasses.
doing it? That's so
Yeah,
interesting. Well, maybe that's why they're so there has to be maybe a copyright.
I don't know.
Would be my only guess. Somebody made an image of the sun wearing sunglasses and now it's under copyright and so you can't do that.
I
But
don't
that
know,
doesn't make
man.
sense. That doesn't make
I
sense
don't
to
know if you
me.
can copyright something like that unless it's the actual drawing itself.
Right.
Um, but I don't
I
know.
mean
It's just that
it feels too big, almost like Coca-Cola Santa.
true. But like I'll give you an example of like the only reason why I would ever use the Easter Island emoji is if
Mhm.
I was at Easter Island taking a picture
Yeah.
of Easter Island. You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
just don't ever see myself using that. I mean, then again, of course, there's also like there's other let me look really quickly at this
Sure.
stuff here because I just saw it somewhere under travel, I think. There's a
Yeah.
lot of travel stuff.
Mm.
Yeah, so like there's the Statue of Liberty, there's the Eiffel Tower that looks absolutely awful. It's red, first of all. I don't know why it's red. Um,
Eiffel Tower?
yeah, and then there's a
Oh, I know why, because it's not France, it's Tokyo.
oh, that looks like the Eiffel Tower at first glance. Sorry, so that actually
Sure.
is Tokyo. Um, then there's a castle, and then there is a Japanese building, and then there's an arena, and then there's a Ferris wheel and a volcano. Let's just list all of them at this point. Why don't we?
Why
Um,
don't we?
But my point is that it's just that I feel like I wouldn't see any of those buildings or I wouldn't use any of these emojis unless I
Mhm.
was actually here. You know what I mean?
I mean, that makes sense, and I mean, obviously, like, again, the Tokyo Tower one, you obviously, like, mistook it for the Eiffel Tower, which, I mean, I can totally see that. I can see that that's what was going on,
Obviously, in real life,
but
I would never differentiate the two by accident, but like on an emoji,
right,
it's very
but on an
hard to
emoji,
see.
like, "Oh, it's this weird red Eiffel Tower." It's like, well, I don't know. I and you're right. Some of these vacation ones are really weird. Statue of Liberty is just a torso up, which I mean, I guess is the most important part. There's too much detail in the Statue of Liberty to put a full body emoji on. But
Hmm.
yeah, some of these are fucking weird.
Yeah, I know. I just feel like I wouldn't use a lot of these. Like, and clearly
Hmm.
we don't. I mean, hello.
Exactly.
Um,
I mostly use faces. Like in my timeline, I have one, two,
the
three,
worst.
four, five, six.
The worst part is all the ones we've used today to text each other are going to be in our most recent now.
They were.
Oh man.
I have 7 emojis that aren't a face.
Yeah.
But besides the 3 that I accidentally pressed.
Yeah, I have a couple. I've got the wine glass, I've got
Mhm.
music notes, I've got a stop sign. I have a red heart and a green heart. And then I
Yeah.
have it's technically not a face, it's the hug emoji, and then it's also
Oh,
technically not a
okay.
face, it's the shrug emoji.
Sure. I counted those because I also have the shrug emoji in my list. I counted those as something with a face because it's not
Yeah.
like I'm expressing an emotion and not
Right.
here's a watermelon.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
Well, do you want to know 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? You want to know the 9 most popular emojis are in the world right
Sure.
now?
Yeah, hit me.
The number one most popular emoji, which is actually kind of interesting, the green check mark.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
I find that odd because you would think it would be a smiley face, but no, it's not. It's the green check mark, which I get it. You
Yeah.
know, you're getting shit done. The second
Right.
one is a red heart.
That makes sense.
The third
You
one,
love something or whatever.
the
Anyway.
third one is the star emoji, but it's with the 3 stars. It's not the
Oh,
one,
like sparkles.
the sparkles one. Yep.
Yeah.
Number
Okay.
4 is
Okay.
a flame.
Okay.
Number 5 is a regular smiling face. Number 6 is the laughing with tears of joy.
Cheers.
Number 7 is the 1-star one. Number 8 is the crying one, and then my favorite, number 9, the dead skull. Oh
See,
man.
that also makes sense though, why all of those are popular.
Yeah.
Or why they're like the most popular. I'm still a little questioning about the green check mark though. I don't know where that one's going in. But
Business meetings, I can guarantee you a lot of business
maybe,
meetings have that. But
yeah, I could probably see that. But like fire totally makes sense. Sparkles also makes sense. The smiling and the tears of joy, yeah. Red heart, obviously. Skull, like these are not surprising emojis to be popular.
right.
That's very interesting. It's very
Yeah.
interesting.
I mean, what makes me so I mean, I never really thought of how impactful emojis really are culturally. I mean, what makes me so amazed nowadays is that like we even have merch now that has emojis on them. I mean, like
Right.
we have cups, we have shirts,
Mhm.
we have sweatshirts, we have pants, we have socks,
Right.
we have necklaces, we have rings that have them on now.
Right.
I mean, it's like
We made a movie about them.
that's
Very,
very true.
very terrible, shitty ass movie
Oh.
about them.
I could only get through half of that. I'm not gonna lie. I couldn't watch the whole
I
thing. It was
I
so bad.
know. I heard that they were making it. And I was like, okay, that's an interesting concept. Why? And then I heard Patrick Stewart, like Sir Patrick Stewart, in the fucking Emoji movie. Like, what the actual fuck am I supposed to do about that? Like, that's why? How? Like, what the fuck? And then I find out that he's the fucking poop emoji.
I know. I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
Like, what does that say about Sir Patrick Stewart? Is that well? I mean, awesome that he has that much of a sense of humor, because he's sure as hell didn't take the part to like
He must have
further
got
his career
he
for
must have got
anything.
offered a lot of money for that.
I had to have been, and even if he didn't get a lot of money out of it, because he's a nice guy like that. He's willing to do stuff for lower amounts of money. Still, fucking, I'm sure he has his reasons. And Sir Patrick Stewart, if you're out there, I love you. I love your work. But man,
Yikes! Yeah, that one was not
yeah,
one of his better ones.
no, definitely not.
Yeah.
It reminds me of like that Michael Caine interview that he had when he was doing Jaws 4. Like fucking I don't know if
Uh,
you Jaws 4 fucking sucked, number
yeah.
1, but like he's
It's
doing an
awful.
interview with it's so bad. But he's doing an interview with somebody and it's like, did you see that movie? Did you see what was going on? And Michael Caine, fucking stone faced, looks at him and it's like, I saw the house that it bought me.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
It's a fucking great
I mean,
line. And who knows? Maybe that's why Patrick fucking took the movie.
yeah.
I can only imagine that there has to be some reason why.
Yeah, I
But
mean, anything after Jaws 1 was just not it was not it. I mean,
yeah.
Jaws 1 was revolutionary, which by the
Hmm.
way, I'm pretty sure there's a shark emoji based after Jaws in the
Oh,
emoji keyboard, but um
probably.
Jaws was just it might have been scary at the time, but today, oh, it's
Hmm.
just so cheesy. But
Hmm.
anything after that was just like the surprise element's gone.
Right. Not to get too into it, I like making fun of Jaws 3D.
Oh, I saw it in actual 3D one
Yeah,
time. Yeah. Oof.
it's very bad.
Oof.
I like making fun of it, but this isn't about Jaws. We'll talk
Oof.
about that another
Yeah.
day.
Yeah, I want to do a film episode at some point talking about the
For
films
sure.
that we grew up with and stuff, but
Mhm.
back to emojis.
Yes.
Um the most famous emoji or the one of the earliest ones is I Heart New York,
Really?
actually. And I'm not surprised by that. It's one of the
Mhm.
earliest uses of the heart symbol as part of the English language. And on
Yeah.
top of that, it's just basically it was before emojis were actually created. It was
Mm-hmm.
1977 was when that symbol slash logo was created.
Yeah.
And so that was like the first introduction of like an emoji kind of thing to America, funny enough.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, it's just crazy. Like
It is crazy
we're
though.
coming toward the end of the episode here, and I just
Mm-hmm.
wanted to kind of like conclude it with like it's crazy how far we've come with the
Mm-hmm.
idea of emojis here. We started off with black and white text being used
Mm-hmm.
to create symbols that look like a face, and then it got replaced with, you know, basically the ability to text icons,
Yeah.
and then it now we use pictures to represent words. And
Yeah.
we do it in a way that now it's just becomes so culturally appropriate now. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's amazing that emojis can transcend language barriers and all that stuff. It's crazy.
Right.
It's crazy how far we've come with emojis. I think
Mm-hmm.
emojis is probably one of the best things the modern human race has ever invented.
I agree. I agree wholeheartedly with that. That one's
Yeah.
oh, fucking that's it. That's the one. That's the tweet.
Yes. Inspiration. There.
Yeah,
That's for you.
there it is.
Okay. All right. I opened the episode,
Yeah.
Max. Why don't you close this one
Sure.
off? Good luck to you.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I'll do my best. So I guess basically to leave off with everybody, like, what's your history with emojis? How do you find it in your own lives and your own text-based adventures? Like, where how often do you even find yourself using an emoji, even to just express something so simple? Like,
hmm
this is something that I find very fascinating, and I'm sure you do as well.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just, I don't know, it's so interesting. But this is us. I've been Max. This has been Brendan, and we've been the Dialogue Dome. I hope you have a wonderful day. Do all those fun little things, like listen to us on the podcast. We're on Spotify. Fucking, I. What's the only one that we're not on?
Apple Podcasts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
Fuck you, Apple.
I can't create an account with them. Oh my god. That for anyone if this is on Apple Podcasts in the future,
Uh-huh.
at this point,
Yeah.
I cannot create an account because it keeps looping back to the create your account screen. So, Apple, fix your shit.
Anyway,
Anyway.
you can find us on all of these different platforms except Apple. And for all of our visual listeners out there, check us out on YouTube, leave a comment, subscribe, ring that bell, the whole 9 yards. You know what's going on, you know what's good. This has been us. I hope you have a wonderful day.
Bye-bye, everyone. Thanks for tuning
Bye.
in.